Hello everyone, in this video we'll be going over the prerequisites to start developing on Zepp OS. So let's start on the Zepp OS docs. The Zepp OS docs is a place to provide all the resources you'll need for developing your own app, such as guides and lots of code examples for you to find and use. For now, let's just focus on the prerequisites slide here. In order to start development, we'll need a Zepp account, a Zepp OS device, and if you don't have one, then a simulator on Ubuntu. And you'll need the latest Zepp mobile app on Android or iOS to bind your Zepp OS device. And finally, for development, we could either use the Zeus command line interface or Zepp Studio. So let's sign up for a Zepp account by clicking this link here. And we'll be brought up a new window to sign up for an account. After signing in, you'll have access to the Zepp Developer Console and Zepp Studio. Here in the Zepp Developer Console, we'll have access to create applications and watch faces that we'll be able to send to the App Store. So after creating a Zepp account, we'll be able to start setting up the environment to start development. So now, we'll be setting up the Zepp OS simulator for Ubuntu. If you already have a physical Zepp OS device, you don't have to worry too much about the simulator. But if you're like me and don't have access to a Zepp OS device, the simulator will be perfect for you to test out your application. In order to use the Zepp OS simulator, we'll have to run it on Ubuntu 20.04 or Debian 11 with virtual machines such as VMware, VirtualBox, or Hyper-V. In this tutorial, I'll be using VMware and Ubuntu 20.04. Here we can click on the respective links to install VMware and Ubuntu. After installing VMware and Ubuntu, after opening VMware, let's create a new virtual machine. And let's just use the recommended configuration. And here we could browse for the Ubuntu file. Make sure you have the ISO file. And then you can personalize your Linux. So for this one, we'll just put and just keep clicking on the default and power on this machine after creation. Alright, so now the VMware is powering on. After Ubuntu is finished installing, let's log in. Nice, so we log in, and we just keep skipping all this. Alright, so let's open the web browser. And that's where we can search for the Zepp OS documentation. Let's head to the simulator installation page. And here on the setup, we could install the client for the simulator. So let's click on this link and press install. Now let's wait for that to finish installing. Alright, so we finished installing, and let's check out the directory it's in. And here we could tell it's in the downloads directory. Let's just create a new directory for it, and let's call it simulator. And let's move the simulator into here. So in order to execute the simulator, we need to grant it admin permission. And here in the documentation, we can see how to do that. So let's bring up the command line. Nice, so we gave it admin permission. Now we can open it and install. And let's go ahead and install the simulator. Alright, so the simulator finished installing, and now we have to install the dependency script. So let's click on this link on the same page where we're at, and let's install. And it looks like it's finished installing. So let's see where it's at. It's in downloads. So on our command line, we need to run this script by running. And now we're installing the dependency. Nice, the environment setup is finished. So let's open the simulator to see if it's working. Nice. So here in the simulator view, we can see the apps we have and the user and other options we have. And here is our emulator. And to unlock the phone, we press the home button on our keyboard. And here we have the emulator for our watch. Right now it's the GTR 3 Pro. So now that we got the simulator to work, let's go ahead and start developing on Zepp Studio. So let's go ahead and go on to Zepp Studio through the browser. Now that we're at Zepp Studio, let's go ahead and open up and build a new project. Let's call this project, let's call it Hello World. And let's click on the Hello World template. All right, let's go ahead and create. So in order to connect to the simulator, this bar would have to light up green. And we would have to find the right IP port. So in order to do that, we click on the gear icon. And it should already be the default one should already work. So let's just click on the form to check it. And now that our status is now green, so we're good to go. So far we have no apps. Let's see what happens after we click on it. All right, looks like it built. And let's go ahead and unlock our emulator. And here we can see that our Hello World app is now inside the emulator. Let's click on it. And it says Hello World. So that's how we start developing Zepp Studio. And here in Zepp Studio, we could change the code and files here. So maybe instead of Hello World, we would want to say like, hey world. So let's change that right here. And if you want to know more about the docs and code, you could go ahead and go on to ZeppOS docs. Okay, now let's build this again. All right, let's see if the changes have been applied. It says, hey world. And that's your short tutorial on how to use Zepp Studio. If there are any questions, comment down below. And if you're a developer, please join our public Slack server in the description. We love to help your development and answer any questions. Also, check out our YouTube channel for more tips and tricks in developing on ZeppOS.